players. It just changed. And that's all I had ever done was recruit and coach. And I just felt like, you know what, my heart's not in it now. Then NBC stepped up with an opportunity. And I said, well, with my record, I think I could always go back into coaching. Well, let's take this on. And I did, and it was a wonderful experience. Marv Albert was my first commentator that kind of adopted me. Al McGuire was working with Dick Enberg, and in those days there was 1 or 2 games on a weekend. Now there's 40. But it went well, the Olympics and everything. And I'm just been blessed. Scott at Lewis, it's been a marvelous run. I got one more quick thing for you. I never as a player was able to score a double-double, okay? So now I have 12 grandchildren, and I'm expecting the 10th great-grandchild at tournament time this year. So if you do the math, 12 grands, 10 great-grands, there's my double-double, and I'm sorry, Evercase, I couldn't do it for you.
Oh, that's all right. Hey, listen, you're the best. When I think about your career, though, I mean, you had your 18 years as a player and a coach, but your double-double is the fact that you lasted in the broadcasting business for 30 years with a lot of major networks with NBC, USA, ESPN, Madison Square Garden, and being able to broadcast in the for NBC in the Olympics with the Seoul Olympics. But I think that's a good double-double in its own right. For those individuals, I'll toot Bucky Waters' horn for you. The man, obviously, 41 years at Duke is a long time, and that you've also received the Lou Gehrig Catfish Hunter and Lewis Loves Baseball for a humanitarian award. But I'm impressed that you're also inducted into South Jersey Sports Hall of Fame. So, Bucky, we're going to say Bucky is a double-double. Okay. 18 years as a college basketball player and a coach, 30 years as a broadcaster on the platforms that you were at, including Fox Sports, which came later in the game. It's pretty impressive. And I think the one thing I need you to do, Bucky, is emphasize to Lewis that you've mentored a lot of people and had a mentor in your that's brought you along. How important, tell Lewis, that it is to have a mentor that's making sure that he's headed in the right direction.
All right. Well, you've got my phone number, Lewis. Call if you want. But I have just preparing for this broadcast tonight. I have 3 things at the top: dedication, enthusiasm, humility, and every day you get up with those. Your feet hit the floor, and if you don't think big, stay home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Look them in the eye. It's how old are you, Lewis?
I actually just turned 23 a couple of weeks ago, and I just graduated from Florida Atlantic University. I just got my degree in communications. I've been with Scott now for about 6 months now. We've been having our partnership together.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you're not a one and done. Scott, hold on to this guy. He's going to be pretty good, all right?
Yeah, I appreciate that, especially for somebody who's known about you for such a long time, given I'm always a person who loves to kind of learn the history of, pretty much anything, and especially, sports, because they've been a part of my life for such a long time. To, get a compliment like that from you is something I'll probably hold on to forever. And, if not probably, I definitely will. I take that, and I don't take that with a grain of salt. I genuinely do appreciate, obviously, getting to talk to you and then, hearing you say those kind words.
Well, you may have some setbacks. If you don't, it'll be a miracle. But you're moving forth at a very young age with the opportunity to be with Scott and this opportunity to broadcast. It's wide open for you. And don't be. I'm telling you, think big, go after it, and don't be afraid to get knocked down. If you're going to compete, you're not always going to be in a tuxedo. Got to go. But if you really want to be good and stay there, there'll be people shooting at you. They told me one time when I started doing games in the Garden, a guy said to me, "Let me tell you something, young man." He said, "New York, there are no ties. In this city, there are no ties. You either come up here and take it on it's got so much to give, and you take it and you enjoy it and you earn it. Okay. But if you come up here trying to please and be, and tie, there are no ties. If you come up with that attitude, they will chew you up and spit you out. This is a tough environment. And you say that about New York, but that's not the only place. It's just the biggest.
And Bucky, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, and we'll close on this. I don't want to keep you here too long. I'm sure you want to get back to watching some college hoops. But the beauty of what you and so many others have done, broadcasting sports, coaching sports, is I've always said this, and it should be agreed, universally, I feel. Without the people in the booth writing the stories and, interviewing coaches and the players, sports, especially in America, wouldn't have the universal kind of acceptance and the appeal that it does. We're the messengers of what, the nation sees and their perceptions. And I think that's a beautiful thing that really you can't really say about much else, because it's just like before the internet, we had, personalities, writing and broadcasting and spreading us the gospel, of college basketball, football, baseball, et cetera, et cetera. Do you agree with me on that at least?
You should write a book. That was well stated. And it changes, and it's becoming more personal, more prevalent, and there's more opportunities now in that career. But it's not going away. It's only getting bigger and better, and there's a spot for you. But you got to go after it and be ready to get up off your knees every once in a while, because if you think big, there's some big fellas out there who want it too.
Yeah, amazingly enough, Bucky, when I look at your longevity in the career, your career both as a player and a coach, and the fact that you've been in broadcasting 40 years, I've been in this industry for 40 years, and I'm amazed at all the challenges that we had in the past versus where the technology's taken us. But the one thing that will never change is the fact that the more individuals that you meet, the more people you look up to and try to get to know. Forget about all the technical stuff. There has to be a lot of common sense involved and a lot of common courtesy to treat people the right way. And as long as we do that, and that's what I love about the fact that when you and I started getting to know each other, I felt like a bond with you because the fact that, I knew about you, I study the people I'm around, and you develop a instantaneous respect for individuals that understand the industry inside and out. And that's why I didn't have the good fortune of getting to know you one day. You and I had the opportunity to spend a good couple of days together, and I have every intention of seeing you again come next June, when we pick this thing up and we talk an awful lot more, because I always feel, even at my age, that having a mentor or a father figure to me is vitally important. And that's why I'm so appreciative of the time that every time we get a chance to do this, to me, I always have more fun. And it's just an incredible moment to be associated with a class act like you, Buck.
Scott, you listen, come under this guy's wing. He's the mentor you're looking for.
That's right. I mean, and look, Scott raises a good point there. You can, no matter how old you are, you can always look to learn more, and especially from somebody who has your pedigree. And we're not just tooting your horn because obviously you took some time to speak with us tonight. We genuinely respect what you've done, and you're one of the people that when I think of college basketball now, one of the first 3 to 5 people I'm going to think of is Bucky Waters. I'm going to think of double whenever I'm talking hoops. I mean. So you've earned my respect, Bucky. And again, obviously it was, more than just a pleasure. It was fantastic to be able to speak with you, and I'm sure Scott echoes that sentiment as well.
No doubt about it, but I get to echo it in a lot of different ways, Bucky.
Well, let me tell you, guys, I haven't been double teamed like this in a long time. Maybe since high school, and it's been fun. It's been fun, and I enjoyed you.
Well, we definitely put you in a trap for sure, but you know what? We'll be putting you in another trap pretty soon later on. So, but meanwhile, Bucky, thanks for being on the program tonight. We really appreciate it. You and I will be in touch real soon, but it's been a pleasure having you back on the program, Bucky. Big time. All right.
Thanks. Enjoyed being with you guys. First class.
All right, you bet. All right, we'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon, Bucky. Thanks for being on the show.
Take care, Bucky. Talk soon.
Thanks. Enjoy the rest of the games. Thank you. Bye.
That was excellent. That was pretty cool. I mean, look, I'm a Generation Zer, so whenever you can talk to somebody who's got a Wikipedia page, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, just the history that the guy has. Obviously a far above average coaching career he played, and then just probably the amount of relationships that we didn't even get to delve into, the people that he knows, it's pretty cool. And you know what? I'm going to add on to the statement I briefly said earlier, and then I'll let you get to what you were going to say. As much of a divide as sports presents, the beauty as to why they remain is that it all comes back to the unifying principle that as fans, as players, as coaches, writers, like whatever you're doing, whatever facet of sport you're in, there's the unifying principle that we just all love our respective sports, maybe to varying degrees, but at the same time, that unifying principle is just the word love, and we love those games so much, and that's what makes people like him and you, and hopefully me one day I can get to say that, missionaries in the regards that we just spread the news of the game that we love, and we just want more people to, read about it and discuss it. I think that's the beauty of what we do as sports personalities.
Well, that's true. And for me, though, I've been around them for a lot of years, talked to the best. I'm not bragging about it, 40 years in the business. You're going to meet a lot of people anyways. But when I decide to make these trips to North Carolina, or in about 2 months, I'll be headed out to Los Angeles to try to meet some more people. To me, it's important to invest in who you are so that we put together the best broadcast. For me, it's not only the best broadcast, but the best friends that I can come up with, too. And I think that the longer you stay around, you'll become more and more exposed as time goes on. I never told you in the beginning, this is going to come right away. It's just a process.
It's a step-by-step thing. And you know what? I didn't just toot his horn because this is the first time I talked to him, and he has obviously a reputation that precedes it. But and this is a compliment from me to you. This is one of the most sincere things I'll ever say to somebody. When I hear you speak to somebody that has obviously the history that they do in their respective sport, obviously it's important to go to conventions such as those to establish professional relationships, but it seems that, and I don't know if most other people do this, you seem to take it a level beyond, and I respect that greatly. Those professional relationships seem to further manifest themselves into personal relationships, and I think that's pretty cool because you can kind of rip off the facade, the image that we bestow on these people. I mean, some of these broadcasters and writers are larger than life. Like Ken Rosenthal is famous than most other baseball players playing in the major leagues today, as is Adam Schefter in the NFL, and Mel Kiper in college and NFL draft scouting, whatever the case may be. But you seem to, and I love this. Hopefully, I get to do this one day, and I feel like I've done it with Mark Littell and Shanahan,
you got a lot,
and a few other people. But you've taken it beyond the professional relationship, and you've made it personal, which is, in this regard, it's great. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think
you're welcome. Hey, listen, you know what? You're a young guy to me that I've had mentors, and I only hope that as you develop, as time goes on, that you'll continue to pick up certain things, because life is about relationships, not the one and dones. Mm-hmm. I don't care whether it's a personal one-on-one with a female, one and done, or whether it's just a one and done. And anywhere, it's not the point. The point is it's about molding them over time. So when I ask individuals to come on the show, this isn't about the show. It's about me surrounding us with some of our best friends, because everybody wants to be able to surround themselves with the best people.
Yeah, and that further affirms what I said. Sports is a very communal thing.
Oh, yeah.
And when you have that community of people, obviously, like we can list all of the great guests that we've had on here for the first couple of months that we've been doing this, and probably that myriad of other fantastic people that you've had the pleasure to speak to. We just all gather around and discuss what we love, what we like and dislike. We share differing opinions, and we grow from each other. I don't want this to sound like we're doing an episode of The View, but, I mean, that's really what this is. I think this is more just this is as much talking sports as it is bonding with other people that we respect. Is it not?
Yep. I'll just say one thing before Bill calls, okay? You haven't seen nothing yet. Scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got some more people in the works, hopefully.
I got a lot of things I work on. Whenever I invite a guest, I have to feel that the timing is right, depending on what the trends are as to what's going on. You'll find out as time goes on. I know that we talked about we're going to do, until Bill calls you, and I can say here on live air right now that we're going to do our own baseball podcast pretty soon.
Yeah.
When we release it, time will tell. But
It's in the works.
yeah, it's in the works. These are things that you really definitely try to focus on.
And I wanted to do this tonight, and I'll be brief because, look, you recently gave me a title of editor, and with that, I've worked to kind of bring more people on because I want to. You preach it, and I'm trying to put that into effect. We want a more diverse profile. That's why last week you and me did on the South Florida Tribune Network. We did a music podcast. Obviously, a taste something that I enjoy other than sports, but I wanted to give a shout